Quadratic equations. They seem so hard, but actually they are so easy. I am Ishaan and today we are going to learn about quadratic equations. So let's start. So what is a quadratic equation? A quadratic equation is any second degree polynomial equation in one variable, which means that the highest degree is 2 and it is a polynomial equation which has only one variable. Usually this variable can be x. So these quadratic equations are usually written in the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where x represents the variable and a, b and c are constants. A cannot be equal to 0. The term ax squared is the quadratic term, which means it contains the highest power of 2. Bx is the linear term and c is the constant term. Quadratic equations commonly appear in various areas of maths and physics. Solutions to quadratic equations can be found using methods such as factoring, completing the square, or using the quadratic formula. Today we are going to learn how to solve a quadratic equation using the method of factoring. Now an important note. A quadratic equation has two solutions, unlike a linear equation, which has only one solution. This is because perfect squares have two square roots, one positive and one negative. So now let's look at the examples of quadratic equations. 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. This is an example of a quadratic equation. We have one more example. X squared plus 4x minus 7 is equal to 0 is also a quadratic equation. Now let's solve some questions on quadratic equations. So our first question is x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So how do we solve it? First of all, we know x squared is equal to 1x squared. So now we need to break minus 5x into two terms such that their sum is minus 5 and the product is 1 into 6, which is 6. So definitely those two terms are gonna be minus 2x and minus 3x. So we break it down like this: x square minus 2x minus 3x plus 6 equals 0. Now what is common between x squared and minus 2x? Definitely it's going to be x. So we take x common and we have remaining x minus 2. And in the second part we should also get x minus 2. So the only way we can do that is minus 3 x minus 2 is equal to 0. And now it's going to become x minus 2 into x minus 3 is equal to 0 because we took x minus 2 common. And now we are going to get the answer in two parts. So the first answer will be x minus 2 equals 0. On simplifying that further, we get x is equal to 2. And our second answer is going to be x minus 3 equals 0. On simplifying that, we get x is equal to 3. So these are our two answers. 6m square minus 7m plus 2 is equal to 0. So our first step, we have to break minus 7m. So 6 times 2 is equal to 12. So we are gonna break minus 7m to minus 3m and minus 4m. So we get this as the equation Now, what is common in the first two terms? It is definitely 3m. So we take 3m common, and we have 2m remaining, and here 1. After that, we have to make sure we get 2m minus 1 over here also. So we can only do it by doing this. So now 2m minus 1 is common. So we can take the remaining terms, which is 3m plus 2, and now we are gonna get the two answers. So our first equation formed here is 2m minus 1 equals 0. So on simplifying that, we get 2m is equal to 1, which implies that m is equal to 1 by 2, our first answer. And now we have 3m plus 2 equals 0, which implies that 3m is equal to minus 2, which implies that m is equal to minus 2 by 3, our second answer. And now let's move on to the last question. 8x square minus 6x minus 2 equals 0. So here 8 2s are 16. So we are gonna break down uh, minus 6x into two terms such that like the product is their sum is minus 6 and their product is 16. So those are going to minus 8x and 2x. So we write it like this, and then here 8x is common. We take it outside the bracket. We have x minus 1 remaining. Here 2 is common, and we have x minus 1 remaining, and then we take x minus 1 common, and we have 8x plus 2, which equals 0. Here we are gonna get two answers now. So our first equation formed is x minus 1 equals 0, which implies that x is equal to 1, our first answer. And now we get 8x plus 2 equals 0. So 8x equals minus 2 and x equals minus 2 by 8. So it is going to be x equals minus 1 by 4. So we get our two answers. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video, and we hope to see you soon again. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join Axisa Academy now.